Hello everyone. My name is Darlene Tawia and welcome back to Breakthrough Strategies. Today, the topic will be Harvey Weinstein, the twins, and sexual harassment. So welcome to you, those of you who are joining me, and if you're joining me on the replay, thank you so much for stopping by. I'm going to ask you, if you find this information interesting, like it up, heart it up. Like this video, please. Share it out with someone who may have an interest in hearing more about this, and follow me on my business page, Breakthrough Strategies, so that we can stay in touch. So again, welcome. My name is Darlene Tawia. I'm an HR advocate and an organizational strategist, and today's topic is Harvey Weinstein, the twins, and sexual harassment. So let's jump right in. So unless you've been asleep for the past few days, you have heard about Harvey Weinstein, who is a top corporate executive in Hollywood. And he has been accused by a number of women of gross misconduct, which is sexual harassment. Now, this doesn't just happen in Hollywood. It happens everywhere. I have been a victim of it. You may have been a victim of it. And I'm not just going to touch on Harvey. I'm going to give you a quick story about myself, a story about one of my clients, and I'm going to end with some tips on how you can empower yourself, because sexual harassment is a very, very difficult claim to prevail on. But, you know, I'm always hopeful about everything. I believe in documentation because it has supported me and helped me in my journey through my own career. And it has supported and helped some of my clients prevail in different situations because of the detailed documentation that they've kept. And, you know, in my prior videos, I always encourage you to journal about everything that happened. So back to Mr. Weinstein. Because of his power and his influence, he was able to get away with it. And, you know, I believe that every dog has their day, you know. So it's crazy how you can yield so much power that even your dirtiest deed can be bought off and paid. So it's my understanding that he was even being investigated, but because he made these political contributions, that investigation was deaded. It was put to bed. And that's why some people go on jobs and blow a person's brain out, because you impact them mentally. They feel like they don't have a way out. You hurt them, and they do something to hurt you or other people who don't have anything to do with it. And so let me give you a quick story about what happened to me. Enough about Mr. Weinstein. So I was a head of HR in this organization. I won't say which one. And this guy, you know, was pretty popular, happy-go-lucky, happy HR lady. People would always come by my office. Hey, darling, how you doing? But there was one particular gentleman who would always come by and reference the twins. And so I have a twin sister. This is not funny, but now when I reflect on it, you know, I just feel so silly, you know, because I try to see the best in everybody, even the worst of them. So he would always come by my office and make reference to the twins. And I have a twin sister. Her name's Arlene. My name's Darlene. And so this one particular day, one of my staff members was in my office. And he said, girl, those twins sure are looking good. So her eyes went like, she was sitting right in front of me. And I thought, okay, does he know I have a twin? Has he ever met her? Because that day it got kind of personal, and I guess I was really paying attention. So then so he ran off. And so the young lady who was in my office, she said, do you know what he was talking about? I said, he was talking about my sister. She said, no. You know what he was talking about? These twins. And guess what? He was the vice president of compliance. And that pissed me off. He was the vice president of compliance. I'm in HR. You're compliance. We're the do right people. You are the, if it's not done right, make it right person. And you're being that offensive. And I felt so stupid when I realized what he was talking about, because I was playing into this. I'm thinking he's talking about my twin sister. He wasn't talking about my twin sister. Thank you, those of you who are joining the broadcast. I can't see who's here, but thank you so much for joining. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment box. Hopefully they'll appear and I can respond. So that was a type of unwanted sexual advance. So let me tell you about a sexual advance that was encouraged. So again, in HR, at this very well-known firm. And one of my responsibilities was to coach and counsel the young entry-level college students. So there was, it had gotten back to me that there was 2 high-level executives who were inappropriately fraternizing with a couple of the college students. Well, they weren't college students, they were entry-level hires in the corporation, and they happened to be in the organization, the client organization I was responsible for. So I had to look into it. And this particular day, the young lady came to my office who I needed to talk to. And we were having a conversation. I said, oh, by the way, I needed to talk to you because it's my understanding that there's something inappropriate going on in your department. I just want to know if you've been impacted. I was specific with her and how it made you feel and so on and so forth. So when she found out what I was talking about, her whole demeanor, her whole body language changed. And she said to me, yeah. And I said, well, how do you feel about it? And she says, well, let me tell you something right now. My mother told me to use whatever I have to get whatever I need. And let me tell you something, ain't a damn thing you can do about it. So I'm a bit of an introvert. Somebody else might have just extroverted some things, but I immediately went into my head, and I'm sure I looked at her puzzled if I had any expression on my face at all. But what's so sad about that situation? This young lady was about 27 years old, and she was using her body, her beauty, as a career advancement tool. And she was okay with it. And she told me that this gentleman, who's my age, promised her that he would get her a job at JP Morgan in New York. And you know what? She got that job in JP Morgan in New York. I would never encourage you to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, stand up for your rights in the workplace. But you have to be strategic. You have to be smart about it. You have to keep documentation. And when this happens to you, don't laugh it off. Don't grin it off. The first time, give them a pass. The second time, it's a pattern. And the person knows what they're doing. Because more than likely they've done it before. The gentleman that I talked to you about, he was a vice president of compliance. Once he was investigated, and I struggled with reporting him because he was a gentleman of color in a powerful position. He had a wonderful career, but during that career, who did he impact? Who did he frustrate? Who did he disgust? Who did he insult? And once he was investigated, it was found that his corporate telephone device was full of porn. I mean, your phone, your company phone, and then his computer was full of porn and women in various stages of dress. And ultimately, he was terminated. And when all of that was disclosed, when I found that out, I didn't feel guilty about reporting him anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, do not feel like you have to tolerate this in the workplace. All right, and even what is it? Terry Crews. He disclosed that recently he was at a function with his wife and he was groped, publicly groped, by someone who thought their power and their privilege and their wealth allowed them, gave them the authority to do this. It's not okay. You have to report it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through some steps. I'm going to give you some information that might help you address the situation. So, you know, I always tell you to document this. And there's a type of sexual harassment called quid pro quo. And that's a type of sexual harassment if someone tells you they'll give you a job if you are engaged in some type of sexual conduct with them. Or you'll receive a promotion if you engage with them in sexual conduct. Or you'll be demoted or fired. That is called quid pro quo sexual harassment. So make sure that you understand what's happening to you. The other type of sexual harassment is in a hostile environment. So take, for instance, now usually in technology teams, what I've found is that there are far fewer women than there are men on technology teams. So say if you're a woman on a technology team and you're receiving these advances from the men or from the boss that these men are not subjected to. That's called creating a hostile environment under the sexual harassment clause. Make sure that you document dates, times, facts, not feelings, and never forget names. Keep copious notes. All right? These are some things that will help you in the long run. And you may not need your notes tomorrow. You may not need your notes next week. But I promise you, you'll need them. Someone else might file a suit with the EEOC, and you might come in as a what do you call it? When more than one person joins a lawsuit. I forgot what it escapes me now. This live stream thing kind of makes me nervous, but I'm thinking, what is it? When more than one person joins a lawsuit, I'll think of it in a minute. But make sure you document any treatment that you receive that is different from anyone else. All right? Keep your notes in a safe place. Now, one thing that I tend to do, I don't know when there's going to be a fire. I don't know when my computer is going to crash. So any document that I have had that I know would be difficult to recreate, I'll type it up and I'll email it to myself in Hotmail so it's in the cloud somewhere. Make sure that you keep those documents in a safe place, and even you can go back and you can add on to them. But make sure that when you report it at work. If nothing is done on your job, then it's your duty to go to the EEOC. But you have to be mindful. If you do that, depending on the kind of company that you work for, depending on the culture, depending on your HR office, depending on the mindset of those executives there, whether they embrace that or not, you could very well be subjected to retaliation. So just be prepared for that. And if that's the kind of corporation or organization that you work for, my next piece of advice is to get out. And once you're out, you can say anything you want to say. You can do anything you want to do. But my advice to you, young lady, young man, older lady, older gentleman, do not feel like you have to be subjected and tolerate this sexual harassment. You don't have to do it. Follow the tips that I shared with you, and they will help you in the long run. The journal that I talked to you about is so helpful. It is so helpful. And it will be the very thing that convicts the perpetrator. Again, my name is Darlene Tawiya. If you're just joining, I am an HR advocate and an organizational turnaround strategist. I come in every Tuesday and Thursday at 3 p.m. to help you manage your way through the sometimes murky waters at work. And I have to tell you, it burns my biscuits, not just in this case, not just pertaining to this subject, when people aren't being treated well at work. And that's probably why I entered into HR about 24 years ago. because I don't like to see people mistreated. And many people don't know what their rights are. Many people don't know what their responsibilities are when these things happen to them. But I am here to support you. So if you've been impacted in any way, not just based on sexual harassment, if you've been affected in any way that makes you feel uncomfortable, if you feel like you're being treated unfairly in the workplace and you need my support, please reach out. I'm here to support you. Thank you for joining my Facebook Live today. I hope this information has been helpful. Please like this video, share it out, and more importantly, follow me on Breakthrough Strategies on Facebook. Thank you for your time, and I will see you again on, today is Thursday. What is today? Yeah, today's Thursday. So I'll see you on Tuesday afternoon at 3 p.m. Take care and have a great rest of the week, and try to have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And I'll see you soon. Take care.